Hey, dudes.
What's up?
Travis.
What up?
Hey.
What up?
So we've
What
got,
up, Thomas?
there he is. So we've got Thomas Crawford with us today,
Hey.
rocking and rolling. Thomas is with the band Manhack. Now, Thomas, you founded the band, right?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Thomas
it started
killed
in 2011, pretty sure. It was just supposed to be something I had just started recording music and kind of getting into that whole thing and learning what the hell even any of that was about. And had always kind of written riffs and stuff before and put together songs. And I mean, up until that point, it was literally a spiral bound notebook, tabbing out stuff and writing, and just don't remember any of that shit. But it's like, all right, there's probably a better way to do this. So that's kind of when the recording thing came into play. And I'd already had a friend who had been recording and showed me a little bit. So yeah, it kind of just started in 2011. We uploaded Manhack, officially uploaded its first song to SoundCloud in 2011. And yeah, that's where it started. It started as a solo project kind of thing to just kind of mess around and stuff, and then over the years just kind of ended up to where it is now. So
very cool. So yeah, so when you first started, it was just you. So I'm trying to remember, were there any vocals or was it just instrumentation?
At first it was just instrumentation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It was just one guy doing the whole shebang besides vocals, obviously. And then around 2014, around the time actually that we got signed to Autumn in Color, back in 2014, 15, I believe. That was right after we had just... Actually, no, I think you guys released our first EP with vocals on it.
Yeah, we did.
2014. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really wasn't a set vocalist. There's like 11 people on it doing different vocals on different songs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what kind of started the whole vocals thing in a Manhack song. And then didn't end up playing our first show till late 2018. So yeah, it's been an interesting road for that.
Yeah. So why so long in between, recording stuff and playing your first show?
That's a good question. Well, when it first started, it wasn't ever supposed to be anything serious. It was just really, here's a riff, this sounds cool, put it together, write a song, whatever, just kind of get it out there. It's more just kind of a having fun through a creative outlet kind of thing. It wasn't ever meant to be something serious. And then had a bunch of friends that just did vocals and had some, it's like, all right, well, we can take some of these friends and just throw them on an EP, and every song is a different vocalist. Right, and they might have 2 or 3 different vocalists on. Okay, that's a cool idea. And then Matt, our current vocalist, was one of the people on that EP, and he kicked everybody's asses on that EP. I mean, everybody, look, that EP sounds cool, and there's a lot of badass vocalists on that. But when Matt came in and recorded, it was like, what the hell is going on right now? This guy is just next level. So after that, I was like, hey, do you want to just keep doing this? So that's when we came out with Rustatorium and then Welcoming Judgment, and he was on those exclusively with a couple of guest vocalists. And even when we did Rustatorium, which was the first EP that he was on fully for vocals, I don't even think it was really a thought then to play shows. It might have been something we were working up to. I don't know. I don't even remember, honestly, if we planned that or not, because it was so long ago at this point.
So, Thomas, prior to Manhack, you were in a full-time band, touring band called Face All Fears.
Yeah.
Now, prior to Face All Fears, was Manhack kind of a side project that you were working on while Face All Fears was going on? Because we did sign Face All Fears, that one album deal, and I love that album, man. That was a fantastic album.
Yeah.
That was a fun album. Was Manhack a thing back then? Was it more of like a creative side project?
I think part of the whole Face All Fears dynamic is what kind of led Manhack to probably start doing vocals. Because, I mean, when you go from being an instrumental project and then you put 11 vocalists on an EP and then you get signed to a label, it's kind of, okay, you're at least taking it serious to some extent. And Face All Fears I joined Face All Fears probably a couple years before that or so, 1 or 2 years before that. So that probably ignited a little bit of that creativity into Manhack a little bit. It's like, okay, well, Face All Fears is doing this, then let's get Manhack doing some stuff too. So that probably is what maybe kind of started that kind of happening around the same time and kind of kicking it up a notch as far as the serious factor is concerned.
No, that's fantastic. Do you have a favorite song, or is that a weird question? Do you have a favorite song that you've written for Manhack?
For Manhack,
Yeah.
I actually haven't been asked that one before yet. A favorite, so just one, just in general, or just one to perform live?
Yeah,
or?
just a fun song that you wrote that is your favorite. You love playing it, you love performing it. It's kind of your go-to song.
It's kind of tough to say. Generally, I prefer the songs to play live, at least, that are not as technical, riffing wise on the fretboard, because the songs that are easier to play live are the ones you can throw your shit around more easier. You can do more guitar spins, flips, jump off stage, run into the crowd. When there's a lot of shit happening, or if the song has a solo in it, for instance, you feel like you obviously, especially during the solo, obviously you have to kind of plant. You have to stand there and play it correctly. But so songs, as far as live is concerned, the ones that are my favorites are the ones that are super easy to play, just because there's.
Have you?
Like I said, there's a lot.
Once you guys started performing
that you can put
live,
being theatrical,
did you start writing differently? Right, so like. Once you perform live, you go, oh my gosh, this starts to really get the crowd going. So all of a sudden you start writing a little bit differently.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Initially Manhack is, well, it always has been, even to this day, but initially Manhack was centered around using themes from movies and video games, etc., sound design elements from that in with metal. So a lot of the stuff that was written early on was never meant to be played live, obviously, because it was just one guy. I mean, we hadn't even started doing vocals yet. And even when we started doing vocals for a while, we didn't know if we were going to play live or didn't think about it. So a lot of the stuff was written based on it never being played live. So maybe there's harmonizing guitar parts left and right, even though there would only be one guitar player on stage, packed in together, a whole bunch of dubs. Maybe it's this crazy synth part. Maybe it's whatever it is. Maybe it's this crazy EQ swell on the guitars or something that you just can't do live for the most part. Now, when we're writing stuff, I absolutely take that into consideration.
Sure.
Thankfully, with the advent of amp modelers and increases in technology for amp sims and just guitar tone related stuff in general, it makes it a lot easier to pull off some of that stuff, especially these kind of glitchy guitar effects that you hear in the recording. A lot of that I can pull off with the Axe effects and make it sound exactly the same. So the technology nowadays helps us with the creative side to be able to pull off more of the stuff live. But a good example of this is our song Death and Faxes, which that song is almost 5.5 minutes long. And it takes forever to get to the point, and there's a whole lot of sound design in it, but it's our most popular track by far. It's easily the number one most streamed one. I forgot what the streams are at last time I checked, but that song was never meant to be played live because the justification was, like, who's going to listen to a 5.5 minute long song? Nobody cares, right? Throne, for instance, keeps coming out with these bangers, and they're all 2 minutes long, and they got 1 million monthly listeners, right? That's the kind of shit. People don't want to listen to a 5.5 minute long song that takes forever to get to the riff. But lo and behold, it became the most popular one, and I definitely wrote that track with the intention of never playing it live.
Sure.
So
you got forced to playing it live.
Yeah, you're forced to play it live now, even though there's 3 or 4 different guitar parts happening at the same time. Well, when you're one dude, it's like, okay, shit, why did this one have to be popular?
Well, it doesn't surprise me that a song like that is popular. I mean, look at Tool. It takes them 10 minutes to get to their riff. And then you're like, yeah, there it is.
Which is crazy because when Tool released their latest album, they saw success that they hadn't seen before. Because, like, there were a bunch of kids that kind of grew up with their parents listening to Tool. And then all of a sudden Tool was like, all right, we got a new album coming out, but here's all of our
You
back
froze.
catalog via streaming now, right?
Still there.
So when they dropped it all, they were like, holy shit, people actually care. And like all these kids were like tuning into Tool. Like I couldn't get my kids to listen to Tool. I was like, man, I love Tool. And then all of a sudden when they dropped their new stuff,
they
were like,
beat
Tool's
out
badass.
Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah. Yeah, they are. But they also got a little bit older too. So I get it, man.
No, it doesn't surprise me that a song like that, like an epic song, is your most popular. Now, Thomas, I have a question. You and I have talked a little bit about your success lately and tossing up the idea of staying independent or going the route of a record label. And we've had extensive discussions about this. You know how I feel, I think, about record labels. Once a band starts getting some success and they start doing well on their own, record labels see dollar signs. That's what they see. And you know I'm a fan of the 50-50 deal. I believe that if it's not a 50-50 deal, it's not a good deal. And I know you've been approached by several labels. How do you feel about staying independent versus getting the help from a record label? Like, where's your headspace with that right now?
Well, with how much bands can do on their own nowadays, hell, 10 years ago, it was, we're a band. How do we get our song on Spotify? Like, how do I do that? Like, nobody really might have had any idea how to do it. Now it's just, you just make a DistroKid account and then upload your music, and then DistroKid puts it on 90 different platforms. All right, cool. Super easy. It's getting easier to have better recordings. It's getting easier to learn how to manipulate social media and blow it up in your favor. It's getting easier to design your own websites. I mean, everything is getting easier to do on your own. So less and less of a need. There's less and less of a need of a label moving forward, as it seems like as time goes on. So, for instance, there's a really big band, an Atlanta-based band called Left to Suffer that's killing it, and they just got announced on the Summer Slaughter tour. And I mean, in the past 3 years, they've just been doing these badass tours, blowing up. Streams are going up all over the place. They're doing badass music videos, songs, etc. Never been signed. Never. I mean, they've been independent the whole time. So they started from zero to touring the Summer Slaughter tour. I mean, but part of that is also shout out to Jeff, their manager. So he just knows what the hell to do. But Jeff kind of has the same opinion that you do, Travis, where it's like, why do we need a label? He might be a little more down the road of you don't need a label at all. So, I mean, it just depends on what you can do as a band and what you can't. So the label that we won't really talk about this much because it's still kind of up in the air, but when we got approached by somebody, it was, okay, our dynamic is probably going to be a lot different than most other bands because we already do a lot of these things. I mean, really the only thing that a label could offer us is a PR blast. I mean, and then really for us, the only thing that would look different there would be our Metal Sucks or Lamb Goat, as opposed to we do an exclusive premiere through New Noise magazine. And whether or not our song premieres on Lamb Goat or New Noise magazine will not make or break this band at all. It's irrelevant. No. I mean, it's cool, but stuff like that doesn't matter.
Well,
so the only thing that I would really be interested in a label at this point is the PR blast, right? Having access to their team and just say, hey, here's our video. You do the press release. You get a badass place to premiere it. Cool. I don't even have to worry about that. That's one less thing, but it's not that great. I mean, we do the social media. There's no other label that anybody on any of these labels, we can do social media better than them. Right. If I were to put myself in a contest with this dude, I'd be like, all right, first person to get a 10 million view video wins, right? I would hit that before he does. So, I mean, and when you make a video pop off like that, that tide raises all ships. So you get more traffic on Spotify, you get more YouTube subscribers, you get more comments, organic comments on your music video, you get more website traffic, you get more merch sales, you get more people coming to your show. I mean, it truly raises all ships. So at this point, what can a label offer us? I mean, it's we're already doing most of the stuff. Now, a situation where in 2024 where a band might need a label is you don't know how to do any of that stuff, right? You don't know how to record your own music. You don't know what's up on social media. You post one video every 8 days. You don't really know what's going on. You guys have good music that you write, but you might just not have anything else behind it. And I've talked to a band recently who was in that situation with the label that was kind of looking at us. They were in a complete opposite situation as we were, where it was they didn't have any of that stuff. And they had a full length, but they didn't have a way to record it. In that situation, it might have made way more sense for them to sign to that label. But, I mean, for us, I mean, we do our own recordings for free. And it's not even, I don't even really like to say that, because when you say, yeah, we do our own recordings for free, you expect to just hear, right, some garage band. You put a microphone in the middle of your literal garage and just recorded 6 instruments. But, I mean, we've been working on our recordings for 12, 13, 14 years. So they sound close enough, quote unquote, to industry standard to not even need to go to a recording studio. I mean, yeah, somebody out there, I mean, if we were to go with someone like Buster Odenheim, for instance, yeah, he could mix our stuff way better than I could. But is that going to get more heads in the door just because the recordings sound 5% better? No. So I don't really see a need for it. Now, we're always interested in any offers. If somebody wants to hit us up and said, hey, here's what we're offering. Yeah, we'll read it for sure. Have everybody read it. Maybe take it to an entertainment lawyer, have them skim over it. Obviously, Travis, have you read it just to see what you think, or Todd too, whoever.
I would probably vote no on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're open to that. And maybe there's some wiggle room. Maybe they're willing to negotiate. Maybe they understand that, hey, this band has everything. We just need to push them a little bit harder in this specific direction.
Right. You're exactly right. And, those are red flags for, Todd and I ran the label. A red flag for us was a band that needed a label. Like, they actually needed a label because they weren't doing anything on their own, or they didn't know how. They didn't even have good photos. They didn't have good social media. They didn't have even a good logo. You know what I mean? These are the bare minimum that you have to have your branding in place, or you're scattered from the get-go. And so these were situations where I would take bands and do development deals with them. It's like, you're not ready for a label, but I'll take you on as a development artist for a couple months to get you ready, because really these photos look like they were taken in your grandma's basement. Like, they're not good. Like, you guys look miserable in these photos. Like, they're just terrible. And so, like, those are red flags for a label. And a lot of times bands need a development deal before they're even ready to talk about a record label.
Yeah,
you
it seems like
way past that.
Oh yeah, it seems like record labels. I don't know. I mean, I'm with you guys nowadays. I don't know that it's necessary. If you're a hard-working artist, you can make more money and have it make it a career by being a small artist. Like, you don't have to be Taylor Swift. Like, you could literally make 80, 100,000 a year being a touring artist if you control all of it. If you're a businessman or businesswoman. But yeah, I just don't see a point in it anymore, man. I think it needs a switch to no more labels. They're consulting deals, right? It's a consulting deal. Listen, are you uncertain of what you're doing? No worries. I have a fee. It's this much per month. And call me. This is what it gives you. And I'll guide you through it. I'll help you go through it. I'll get you to where you want to be. But I don't own you. I don't own anything you do. I'm just here to help. But everything's going to be pay to play, right? Like, if you hire a publicist, pay to play, right? You hire a booking agency, it's pay to play. Like, all of it. Like, if you're a smart artist, you can hire all these things, and that's all a label does. They just have some of it in-house.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine Taylor Swift's fees? She probably pays out millions of dollars a month just to have her team around her. She doesn't do anything on her own. I mean, yeah, she might write some songs. I think she's a talented artist.
I'm sure she's very involved with what's going on.
She's involved, but
yeah.
she delegates at this point. go ahead and do this. What's my wardrobe? What should I wear for this tour? Like her fees, could you imagine what she's paying out?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she just crossed $1 billion mark as an artist. Her fees are astronomical, but she's at that level. Like
Yeah.
every artist needs a team around them to kind of see things that the artist can't see from the inside looking out. You need to be on the outside looking in, going, the band has to trust their team too. If you don't trust that person, don't work with them.
And the team dynamic is a great point, because that was kind of going to be what I was going to bring up about a label. Is me and our booking agent have talked about this a lot with Manhack, and what seems to be more important nowadays for bands than a label per se is having a team of people, because we want to take this all over the planet. I mean, we want to be the next Lamb of God. I mean, we just don't want to do a week-long run to Texas and back here and there or something. I mean, all
you
over
have
the
to
planet.
commit. Like you have to commit. You're right. Like
Yeah.
I've always said this, not to cut you off, Thomas. I apologize, but I've always said this, that if you go and do anything for a long period of time and you give everything, if you put 110 into it, it will be successful. Define success. It's all over the place, right?
It's objective.
$1 million in the bank, or I get to do this as a job and I love it. But I've always said it, man. If you do anything long enough and you go at it 100%, 110%, you will find success. And that's kind of where I see you guys right now. You're like really like, okay, we're going.
Yeah.
But those, like you said, that week-long run, that's cool, but you need to be out there for like 3 months.
Mhm.
Like saturate,
Mhm. Yeah, and eventually it gets to that point. It's just, you might have to take some stepping stones. Maybe you do a 3-day, maybe you do a week, and eventually get to that point. But me and Ryan have talked about the whole building a team dynamic and talking about kind of the labels versus having a team. I mean, having a team is more important, and understanding as a band where your shortcomings are and having someone else to fill that void. So, for instance, our shortcoming is booking. Just because of the fact, objectively, I'm not good at it, because emails feel like turn-based combat. I mean, the whole political word manipulating dynamic, and like, it's like, I got to send an email to book a show. Let's put on the battle armor and the great swords and go to battle. It's like, hey, nope, Got all the things on this band that are of this band that are fun to do. You're to make a list, right? It'd be booking would be just down here under the house. I mean, it would least fun thing to do.
For sure.
So don't want to spend any time learning how to get better at booking, right? That's what Ryan's for, because that's what he does for a living. And props to that man, because I don't know how you just sit there and send emails to these bands. I mean, imagine having 30 bands on a roster that you have to book shows for and do all that shit. So,
because they never go smoothly. There's
doesn't.
always a hiccup. So it's like back and forth.
And
that's always. I'm with you, man. That was always the worst. Like Travis and I got into it a little bit with some of our artists, and we were like,
yeah, and he's really good at that. He has a lot of experience. He used to be a radio DJ. He used to work for Live Nation. I forgot his resume exactly, but I mean, it's long and it's stout. So he knows the jargon. He knows how to read between the lines on these emails between other booking agents and venues, shit that we would never catch. So, hey, you do that. And even though we pay him, obviously he has a rate, right? He only takes that from shows that he books, and it's more than what we would get overall, because
That's a
we
good
would get
investment. That's one of the best investments you can make for an artist, is having a good booking agent.
Yeah, and it works out because we got his contacts now. We have his insight. I mean, even just having conversations with him on the phone, the amount of things that you learn for free, because he's like, okay, well, this is how you think it is. Cool. This is how it actually is. And he's pretty upfront and blunt too. So the reality is that was a void for us that needed to get filled. That opened up the opportunity for us to play more shows and have more opportunities, get better slots, and get bigger guarantees even after we pay him. So we're interested in bringing people onto the team that will help push us further and faster down the tracks and help get us to that goal quicker. If it happens to be a label and the deal's good, cool. If it just happens to be another person, right? Maybe, right, we have a booking agent here. Maybe we hire a manager separately, and then they take a certain percentage. As long as they're helping us to exponentially grow more, cool. I mean, it doesn't have to be a label at this point. It just, where is your band falling short? Where are you guys lacking, right? Figure out how to fill that void.
Absolutely.
And that seems to be the most important part compared to a label, at least.
And when you look at Manhack, I mean, Manhack is out there doing those things. So you're in a position right now to where a label can come along, and you're so wise about the industry. You've been it, you've done all these things that you can say no, right? You know, there's plenty of stories. Hell, my wife and I just watched the TLC documentary. Listen, don't judge. I ain't no scrub. But what I will say is they got hosed, man. They got hosed. Like there were multiple platinum selling artists touring all over the world and had nothing. Ooh. They were paying for their own trips to go to like interviews and stuff like that. It was pretty bad. Anyways, my point being is that you guys are in a position to where you can go, no. We know what we want, and this deal doesn't offer it. Change that deal.
That ain't it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're only as strong as your team, too. I mean, you also have to be careful what label it is as well. If they're not well connected, or if they can't make things happen quickly, then they just want to feed off of your success and your hard work. Be careful for that too, because there are such things as lazy record labels that just want the bands to do their work for them, and they need the bands to make them look good. And I've seen that. A lot of these labels have already folded. So, and
even situations where I have a personal friend, I'm not going to name the label or the band or anything, but
no need.
A big label. Let's leave it at that. Everybody's probably heard of it. They were signed to that label, and because they were an entry-level band, they kind of got the treatment, Travis, that you were just kind of talking about, where they did not only not really got paid. At first, it seemed like they were getting some attention from these guys, and this label was going to push them pretty hard, but it got to a point where they just stopped doing shit, and then they breached their own contract, and the label did, pulled the rug out from under them, and then this band, and thus the people in the band, had to pay over $10,000 in money back to this label just to get the rights to their songs back, even though that label yanked the rug out from under them. So there's even that whole dynamic where the label, this deal looks great. We signed the deal. The entertainment lawyer said it was great. And then 6 months into it, you still get screwed. Yeah. So that's a whole other thing to consider also.
There's another story like that. There was a band that we used to play around with when I was doing my music thing back in the day, and this is probably early 2000. They were super popular here in Atlanta, blowing up. Everybody loved them. Shows would sell out, and they got signed. They got signed to a big label, and it was a deal where they were going to record an EP, and they were going to record this EP with some really badass producer and out in LA. So they went out there, they did this thing, and the label made them change their name. The label changed their sound, and it flopped. And that was it. That was their career. Their career was done. But they were they were huge here. Everybody loved them, and their sound was so great. And then it all changed. And so labels do that kind of stuff too. You know,
they try to make a better creative decision for the band and think this is going to benefit everybody. And because we have a team of people that are so smart and intelligent, blah, 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 borders on arrogance, that they think that that's the best decision, ends up screwing the band.
Oh, gosh, man. They totally screwed the band. It was awful. So let's talk about this. We know nowadays, and Travis and I saw the writing on the wall years and years ago, that streaming was going to be the way to go, and that, you know, all sales were going to cease. So that's happened. So now all money's made on touring, all money is made on merchandising. So how is that for you guys now? Like you said, you know, booking, you guys are getting better guarantees and stuff like that. So when you do the comparison, because I just want people to kind of understand out there who are listening to this that aren't musicians, how jacked up it is. You know, like when you go and you have 1 million streams, which happens, and you get a check for $100 and something, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But then you can go out and sell a shirt. Shirt probably costs you $8 to make. And then you can sell it for $20 to $25, even $30 now. Taylor Swift sells them for like $50 or $60. That's what the money is, man. So how is that for you guys? Like, what have you seen as far as making revenue as a musician?
So I'm gonna throw you for a loop here and actually tell you that 90% of our income is from streaming, believe it or not. The other 10%, I mean, yeah, when we play shows every once in a while, but we don't play shows regularly enough now to count that as income. But this business generates passive income. We have stuff uploaded through CD Baby, which gets deposited once a week. And then the main bulk of it is DistroKid, which we have to personally, you have to physically withdraw the funds out of DistroKid yourself. It doesn't have an automated kind of thing, which is whatever, who cares? We just do that once a month. And that pays for our advertising, that pays for merch, that pays for this, that pays for that.
Nice.
Now, is it hundreds of thousands of dollars? No, but it's an interesting dynamic because most people are kind of stuck in that situation. They're stuck in that rut where it's you see on paper the number of cents to the seventh decimal point or seemingly that Spotify pays. But when the reality, at least for us, is when we get a royalty check from DistroKid, the biggest chunk of that is Spotify. But I mean, Spotify pays like crap, but they're also the biggest one. I mean, if you were to go through and look at all of our landing pages, for instance, that have 7 or 8 different streaming platforms on them, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Bandcamp, whatever the hell, 80% of people are going to click on Spotify if given the choice. So it pays like crap, but it's also the biggest one. And we've had enough content go viral and brought our Spotify numbers up well enough to where it just is constantly rotating, and any band can do that now. So situations where you might kind of, Todd, like you said, make you get 1 million streams on a song, you only get $100. There's probably too many people skimming off the top. There's probably labels involved. There's probably too many people on your team that don't maybe need to be there, or they're taking too high of a percentage.
Sure.
Because the reality is, and I've confirmed this with streaming royalty calculators and following a couple of various independent artists. One who's called Nick D, for instance, who has 400 million monthly listeners and has never been signed to a label and owns 27 acres.
It's all about the acres.
He posts a lot of really cool content and goes pretty deep dive into what he does and how he does it.
That's cool.
Anyway, reality is if you get 1 million streams on Spotify, that's about $3 to $4 grand from Spotify. Now, if you have it uploaded to DistroKid, that could probably equate to $4 to $5 grand. So if you can get 1 million streams a month on Spotify, you should be getting $3 to $5 grand.
Sure. Okay.
Only if that goes straight to your bank account.
Right. Right.
Now, it could be where, like you said, a band is getting 1 million streams a month and they're only getting $100 because they're just getting shafted. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But we can attest to the fact personally that all you got to do is build it up and it'll eventually start rolling in. Because when we first started in March of 2022, when we set a goal to post on social media, I didn't know what the hell any of this shit was going to happen. I certainly didn't think we were going to generate passive, steady income to be able to pay for the expenses of the band. It was just, all right, this seems like the right thing to do. Let's see how it works out. And it ended up being the best thing we've ever done as a band. But it as long as nobody's putting their hands in your cookie jar and you're doing the right thing to blow your stuff up, then you should be starting to get something. But there's a lot of bands that they just don't do the right thing. They upload a JPEG of a show flyer once every 8 days on their social media and then wonder why nothing happens. Well, nobody's going to come because you didn't provide any value. I mean, you're pretty much holding a party in your house and you didn't invite anybody to the party. And then you're wondering why it's Friday night at 8 p.m. and the music's pumping on your stereo, but you're the only person in the house because you didn't bring anybody into it. So
right.
The the whole bands earning streams dynamic is pretty interesting. So for us right now, to kind of loop back around to your original question, for us it's mostly streaming royalties, believe it or not, and the biggest chunk of that is Spotify. Believe
That's
it or
wild.
not.
Well, I get it. I get the Spotify thing because, like, my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those Apple. Like, I just do everything through Apple Music because I'm all Apple everywhere in the house. But my kids are like, no, we don't care that you pay for the Apple Family Plan. We want our own Spotify. Okay, but they love.
Here's probably pisses you off because you're like, use the plan, please.
Use the plan. I'm going to downgrade the plan, kids. But no, one of the things though that I love about it is Spotify because I didn't really know this because I don't use Spotify. Is they were like, so and so, they'd find this new band, this new artist, and they'd be, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, this guy's got, right now, he's got 3,000 monthly listeners. And I was like, wait, hold on. That's a thing? Like, you can monitor, and that blew my mind just because I come from an older school generation to where it's kind of hard to measure those things, Kudos to Spotify for giving that kind of thing out there. And that's really cool for kids, too, because they see that stuff and they want to support it even more, right? Because as they start to see a band grow, those numbers, listeners go up. And then it's like that old school thing where you found that band first, right? And you're like, oh, man, I found that band first. But I was around that band when they had 100 listeners, man, right?
Yeah, like, and it's. Go. I was just going to say real quick, it's social proof, and Spotify absolutely did that on purpose.
Oh, for sure.
If Spotify didn't show monthly listeners or plays, they would just be another Apple Music, which Apple Music is cool, but it ain't the biggest one. Or they would just be another Tidal, right?
No.
Tidal, those other places, they don't show monthly listeners. I think that's one of the biggest things, that reason why people even pay attention to Spotify, or the reason why Spotify is one of the biggest ones is because of that reason.
Oh, sure.
The UI is great. The website is great. The GUI is great and all that stuff. It's easy to get around and objectively. Somebody's probably going to say, oh, Apple Music's way better to get around. I mean, cool. You get the point here. But because they show monthly listeners, that's probably why they're the biggest one, honestly.
Oh, it's huge.
Because of that number.
I mean,
because now bands are judging each other. I mean, bands are getting put on a bill of a show based on that sometimes.
I believe it. I mean, it's stats.
Yeah,
like,
I've
that's
been
one
using
thing.
Spotify since day one. I mean, Todd's always been an Apple user, but as soon as Spotify came out, I had the free account for a while. And then I was like, I really like this, but I hate the commercials. So, and you couldn't play an album all the way through. So I got an account, and I've had one since 2010 or something like that. They were the first ones to launch the music streaming platform.
Oh yeah,
and I've loved it. It's got kind of a social aspect to it where you can be friends with people, see what they're listening to, or you can turn it off. So you can make playlists and invite people to listen to your playlist. I think it's really cool.
No, that is cool, and it's brilliant that they do it too. Just simply because when we would look for artists to sign, and we would look for artists to help push. We did, it was like social media, like, how many people do you have on your social media? So I could see how Spotify has become that now, right? Like, let's see, what are you doing? Oh man, 50 monthly listeners. Okay. You can't get this show. You see if we can find somebody a little bit.
That,
I get it, man. Makes sense.
Yeah. Which, I mean, and that's the thing. It kind of comes back because for a while there, it was Facebook likes, right? Before Facebook kind of fell off and kind of stopped being relevant for bands.
Before that, it was MySpace. How many MySpace friends did you have,
Yeah, and it's those numbers are great on paper. But it's always best, of course, you guys know, to take the grand picture, like the 50,000 foot view here of all of the social medias combined. What are they doing overall? Because you could have a band that's killing it on tour and that only has 2,000 followers on Instagram and is getting insanely high engagement. I mean, they'll post a screenshot of a flyer once every 8 days and get 400 likes on
400
it. 400
likes,
only 2,000
100
followers.
comments. That's the kind of
some
stuff you have
bands
to
are
look
like
for.
that.
Yeah.
And some bands are just killing it like that. And you go to their Spotify and they got 700 monthly listeners, but they're killing it. It's just that number ain't that high. So it is an important number, but I mean, it's one of those things too, where you just got to look at the whole picture, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a question. Does the band have the ability to accept payments with cryptocurrencies?
No, I don't believe so. There's ways on our GoDaddy site. Yeah, okay. We could talk about that. Yeah, there's ways on our GoDaddy site to set up multiple payment options. but not with cryptocurrency yet. What do you bring that up? Is that something that you're interested in?
Absolutely. I do believe it's the future, and I believe if you had a way to, pay with Bitcoin or pay with Sheeb or pay with Dogecoin or something like that, it would bring a whole new audience, an underground audience to your page, and you might be on the forefront of something very new and fresh if you could collect cryptocurrencies for merch or even donations or even just support or for any kind of payments. I highly recommend that you put a link on there that links to one of your cryptocurrency wallets. You can collect payments that way.
Have you seen a band doing that specifically lately?
No.
Is that because that's the thing. I'm trying to even think how to set that up because GoDaddy doesn't have that option, even if we wanted to do that through their site. So that's interesting.
A separate link. You'd have to do a separate link on your page that if you want to share, it's this much Bitcoin. You could take Bitcoin. You could just limit it to Bitcoin or Ethereum or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm with you, Thomas. I do a lot in Shopify. I do a lot of building sites and stuff like that in Shopify nowadays, and I don't think they offer anything Bitcoin.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what makes it. But that's what makes it difficult because then you're talking about all custom coding, and like you mentioned earlier, Thomas. I mean, the ability to just throw these things together now because the technology's there, it just makes it easy. So when I go, hey, I'm so efficient in Shopify, I can build a website a day if I wanted to, right? Like no big deal. Graphics, everything. But if you started talking custom coding, I can tweak coding. I can't write coding, right?
All you would need is your wallet address, your 32-digit encoded wallet address. You could do like a landing page for it, and you click here, and you get the 32-digit Bitcoin address.
But that sounds complicated.
USDT is 1-for-1 for the US dollar. So you could just we accept USDT, which is Tether.
Sure.
USD Tether, 1-for-1. So it's equivalent to the dollar. I'm telling you, it would bring an edge to the band that would, in my opinion, absolutely explode. And you heard it here, folks.
You heard it here first, folks.
Heard it here first.
You heard
you're
folks, right here on the Travis and Todd.
You heard right here that dang old crypto gonna be the thing.
That's the thing, I tell you what.
The three T's told you all about it.
That's right. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'm also canning I'm canning beans and I'm canning all kinds of peas. It's coming. Jesus is coming. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny about this whole crypto thing is it's really interesting that you bring this up because this has been a lot on my mind lately because I also play poker on the side and am interested in eventually making that more of an income. And what's great about poker is it's always been super easy. Now granted, yes, in Georgia it's not legal in Georgia, so blah blah blah. Yeah, but there's unregulated sites you can play on, in which I play on. It's called ACR, which is an unregulated site.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here first. ACR.
Heard it here first. But it's always been super easy with sites like that to do crypto exchange. And what's great about that is it's not traceable. I mean, obviously, yes, if I win a tournament, win $5,000, and I decide to put $4,000 of that in my checking account. Yeah, you're going to see $4,000 hit my checking account, but you're not going to be able to see shit else besides that because when it comes in and out of the cryptocurrency,
you keep it in your wallet, man. You can get
it's not traceable, right?
It's decentralized. It's decentralized currency, and you can get a debit card that's linked to your wallet. It has a Visa logo on it. And you can spend it anywhere, and you don't have to put it back in your bank. Boom.
Yeah, so that would, and we are always looking for ways to not give the government money. So if that's a way we can do it,
real libertarian.
let's sign up for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The IRS thinks we only made $5,000 this year when we really made $50,000. Cool. Thanks, guys.
You heard it here, folks. Right here.
Heard it here first.
You heard it right here. But no, man, that's my as an outsider looking in, my advice to the band would be to be able to accept cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean, it's a super cool idea.
made a note here to kind of look into that a little bit more. So we'll see what the options are.
Yeah,
Here
Travis,
we go.
what's his percentage? What does Travis get for if you get it all set up? Does he get a little kickback?
Hey,
69%.
We'll pay
Canadian
0.0007.
69%.
Oh hell
Ooh,
yes!
I like that number.
Well, there are all
You
kinds of
can pay
things
in
like this,
Sweet,
right?
Bitcoin, Ethereum, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just pay me.
Dogecoin.
So no, it is interesting
Even though
because there's all
Dogecoin was
these
only
things.
relevant for 3 weeks, but anyway.
There's all these things that are like this that that you don't really think about, and like for me, I go, I don't know, I don't know if I would really want to go that route, but it's also kind of where you miss out on opportunities, right? You go, oh man, shoot, if I would have gotten on Apple back in the '80s, well, that would have been nice, But the same thing here, like, I don't know, Bitcoin,
It's kind
maybe?
of it kind of almost is kind of the same dynamic of offering 4x, 5x, and 6x sizes in shirts. I mean, obviously these are completely different situations, but most people that wear those sizes, if they go to a show and you have that size, they will buy it.
Mhm.
Even if they didn't watch your band, and even if they don't like your shit, really, because no other bands offer that kind of size really
That's
that
true.
often.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like the same dynamic where you might be potentially opening yourself up for more sales
Dude,
because no other
The
band is
crypto
offering that.
market is on fire, and I'm telling you, people use their crypto debit card for everything nowadays. They don't use their bank cards.
I mean, imagine that being
Use
one
the
of the
crypto
first bands to offer some type of crypto. I mean, that'd be
Telling
cool.
you, dude.
So is it an option? Like you're talking about a crypto debit card. I've heard about ATM, like Bitcoin ATMs, but you can get a debit card where when you use it, it just comes out of your wallet
Correct.
instead of coming out of your checking account.
That is correct. I have one.
That's pretty badass.
Really? Interesting.
I have one. Crypto.com. Sign up. It's free to sign up. You buy some coins. You apply for the debit card. It costs $4.99 for them to ship it. Other than that, there's no fees. You can use it anywhere that takes Visa, which is everywhere. You can click a little button for international usage, and it converts it to the coin of that country for free. So you can literally use it anywhere.
So Travis, here's
Anyway.
here's the fear. Here's the fear about crypto. I guess my fear, right? And maybe other people have it. Thomas, maybe you have
Okay.
it. So you take your own money, your own physical dollar that you've earned, right? So then you take that money and then you put it into crypto, right? The fear. What happens if whatever that crypto platform is, because there's a whole different bunch of them now, falls apart, fails? Where'd my money
It's
go?
the same thing as the stock market.
Well, okay, but I'm saying my money that's in my bank account, the money that's sitting there in my savings. I get the stock market. I play that. I get that. That's a calculated risk. I understand that this would be a calculated risk, but you're saying if you started to use that so it's untraceable money, right? You started putting it in crypto. That fear of like, what happens if that tanks? What happens if that company shuts down? You know?
Yeah, it's not a company. It's decentralized.
Well, somebody's got to run it, right? What happens if that server crashes? Like, you see what I'm saying?
It's the same thing as buying a stock. It's the same risk as buying a stock. And you also have cryptocurrencies that are 1-for-1 for the US dollar. So we all know our dollar is not very strong right now. It's failing and tanking left and right. And it's only getting worse as we print more money out of thin air. So people are looking for ways to put their money in places that aren't so volatile as the US dollar, which is weak and it's falling apart. And I think it's only going to get worse. So stuff like Bitcoin and other coins, they fluctuate up and down, but the trajectory track is always up. It's only blowing up. And you can buy and sell and transfer. What you want to do is buy low, and if it goes up, you sell it.
Sure.
I mean, just like anything else, and it's instant with an app. And you have a debit card that you can top up and spend anywhere.
It sounds cool. So you're saying you just wouldn't use it as like an alternative to your current banking system or where all your money is. Like,
absolutely, I want it to be my primary banking.
You want it to be, but isn't that scary right now? That's my whole point. Like if you say it's like the stock market, right? So if it's like the stock market,
the U.S. dollar is more scary to me than cryptocurrencies. Honestly,
True.
It's not good.
Travis, if you need to borrow $100, you let me know, okay? When it all goes south, I got you, bro.
Hey,
Todd said cold hard cash is the way to go.
That 401k,
Which there is an argument for that as well.
Give me that cash. Oh yeah, that's
3
going
years
away.
ago, my 401k was growing at 25%.
I know, dude.
It's
Mine
now-
too.
It's now growing at 4%. I've lost
Right.
more money in the 401k on like a moderate to conservative layout on my 401. If I would have put this in Bitcoin, I would probably be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago.
The thing that's interesting too is it doesn't have to sit in that crypto.
No.
So, for instance, with the whole poker dynamic, comes out of my account, does a wire transfer into an exchange like Gemini. It sits in Gemini, so you can see the money in there. And then what I'll do is when I'm ready, I'll put it into Ethereum, get that code, and then drop it in. So it only sits in Ethereum for a few minutes.
Ethereum
But then it goes
is constantly going up, man. You
Yeah,
can make
for
a ton of
sure.
money on Ethereum.
and comes out of Ethereum, it goes into the poker app and then use it for whatever you need to. But then when you withdraw funds out of that, it goes back into Ethereum, only sits there for a few minutes. You sell it, and then it sits in the exchange again. So even if Ethereum tanks 10 minutes after that, it doesn't matter because your money isn't in there. So it doesn't necessarily have to sit in the crypto. The thing I'm interested in, though, is if it, with your debit card, Travis, does it pull from the money that you have in Bitcoin, or is it pulling from the money that you have in the exchange that's just sitting there not tied to a cryptocurrency?
You can top up your debit card from whatever coins you have. You can top up with Bitcoin,
Gotcha.
Tether, with Kronos, with Dogecoin. You just, whatever coins you have, you can top up, put it on your debit card, and go up to your local McDonald's and buy a burger with it. Whatever. Go to Starbucks, buy coffee. And so, anywhere that takes Visa. So if your website takes Visa, that's cool.
Yeah.
But if they want to wire, let's say they want to wire $20 USDT for a shirt, you should be able to have your 32-digit encrypted code on there somewhere so they can wire you $20 and you send them a shirt.
Okay, I'm seeing a benefit here. So here's a benefit for.
You heard it here, folks.
You're right here. You heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
That's right, folks. So if they were like, you could sell a shirt online, $25. However, if you use crypto, $20.
Ah,
See what I'm
Boom.
saying?
yeah.
Less
So there's
fees.
less fees. There's a benefit to it.
No taxes.
What's great about that is, too, if it's in crypto, they don't know that they're feeding my poker addiction.
That's
So I can
right.
just take it out of crypto and go straight to the poker
That's
client.
a win-win.
Yeah.
It's a
More
win-win.
benefits to Manhack here.
That's right.
Killing gambling addictions. Let's go.
Let's
That's
go.
a win. All the way. So Todd, as a website designer,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
need to start incorporating the ability to pay with crypto.
You know, you're absolutely right. I need to look into that. I mean,
Telling
I
you,
just
man.
like I said, I
Yeah,
mean,
Todd
other than hearing
might
it
be a
from,
hard sell on that one, but
I don't know, man. I mean, if I could figure out a way to do it and it's just there as an option, then who cares?
I could go.
right?
I'll go show you my debit card if you want me to.
Yeah, let me see
Hold
the
on.
numbers.
whip
Let me
it
see
out.
the numbers.
Let's see
on
it.
it.
I'm actually interested to see what this looks like.
Yeah, hopefully he shows us the numbers.
Yeah, flip the back over too and really put it in the camera.
Hey, what's your CVV code? What's that CVV code?
Yeah, what's the 3-digit code on the back?
3-digit code.
All right, y'all
What's-
ready?
Yeah, what's your billing address?
Gotta buy a box of
What I'm
Newports.
referring to. See this?
Okay, is
Yeah.
it plastic
That
or
logo
metal?
right there?
Cover up your number,
This
dude.
is plastic. The one above this is a metal
It's so
card.
blurry, you can't even see it anyway.
Are you covering up your
No,
number?
you
Dude,
don't
cover up your number, bro.
You're just gonna have to put that in post, man.
I
You're
know,
just gonna
damn
put a
it.
sensor bar.
Now I got more work to do.
See that?
Yeah, I
this
see
is
it.
a
Show us your number again.
crypto.com debit card,
Okay.
That is cool,
Okay.
though.
That is cool.
and it links directly to
What's your phone password?
Yeah, what is it?
crypto.com app. You see it? See that logo, crypto.com,
There it is.
and
By the way,
boom.
we're not sponsored by Crypto.
I am.
Not yet.
I'm gonna have to
That's
message
awesome,
them
though.
later. Hey, by the way, we talk about you. Give
Yeah.
me some money.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you, man, it's the future, and Manhack is the future. So
Manhack
that's
is
what
the
I'm-
future. That's right.
What we like to hear.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I made a note to sign up for that at least to check out that debit card. So
I'll
then
send you. Hey, I'll send you a sign up code, and we both get money if you sign up.
Ooh,
Yeah.
send me a code.
Check that out.
Oh,
It might be viable for sure.
it would be genius.
So
I'm gonna
let
send
me
both of you.
let me ask you. Let's wrap up on the crypto, but I just want one more question about it though. So, if I'm putting money in there, like for you're putting money in there. Are you seeing like daily increases of your money? Does your dollar go to 1.2 or like what are you seeing?
Yeah, you do see increases. I mean, it fluctuates just like the stock market, but there's a few coins that are poised to really make you some money. Like SHIB, for instance, SHIB, it's fractions of a penny right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally have, let's see, I'll tell you, like 21 million SHIB, right? To be exact, I have 17 million SHIB
Okay.
coins. 17 million coins. If this goes up to $1, guess what that means?
Do the math. How
We're
much?
all rich.
Banking.
17 million.
So can I borrow $100 then?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's
So-
okay. So I hear what you're saying, right? God, we need
Yeah.
to get off this damn topic, but it's very interesting. Okay, like so I hear what you're saying. You can put your money in there, but why Sheev? Like, why would Sheev go up when you have other currencies? Like, aren't other
I don't
currencies
know.
more
Ask
popular?
Elon Musk. Elon Musk has put millions and millions and millions in SHIB, and he believes it will go up to $1 as well. In fact, Tesla just launched their own coin, the TES coin, TES
interesting.
coin. It's not on a lot of the exchanges yet, but you could buy it off the Tesla website, and they did not take credit card. You had to buy it with cryptocurrencies, which is really amazing. You've got these huge companies that are investing in cryptocurrencies because they know probably the market's about to fall out. Anyways, yeah, I mean, look into it.
Yeah,
I
we will
sent you
for
the
sure.
link, and so let's see how that goes.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you have
we're
any
definitely going to
questions,
look
let
into
me
that.
know. I'm always here.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to look into seeing if that's going to be an option for us or not.
That'd be cool, man.
Well, just follow Manhack on social medias, subscribe to the YouTube, follow on Instagram. I mean, Instagram's the main thing, so get followed on there. We release new music regularly. We try to aim for every 4 to 8 weeks, more or less. We're trying moving forward to make that a little bit more towards the 4-week mark. We would like to get to a point where we can drop a song every month. That would be cool. But get followed. We're always going to be coming out with new music and aiming to do more shows soon. We're actually looking for a touring drummer right now because our drummer Jacob is hitting school pretty hard. So once we find a touring drummer, we're going to start playing more shows out of state, start kind of stepping in that direction a little bit, and coming to your hometown soon at some point.
It's amazing.
So
I can't wait. We'll get you up here in Raleigh again, man.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Thanks,
and,
man.
Follow Manhack and follow Thomas Crawford on social media as well. He puts out some amazing content. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Some of the
Thank you.
best stuff I've seen in a long time. So thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Todd. Somewhere lost in the abyss. Thank you, Travis. This has been awesome. So,
Bye, guys.
Created by human